You guys should all be able to see my screen. Jill, I'm going to unmute you just so that I've got your feedback as needed, and we'll definitely have you share anything that people need to know.
Hello.
Hi, Jill. Long time no see.
Right? You're so far away.
I know. Well, hey everyone, we're really happy to have you on here with us today. We know it's a middle of the day meeting, so we appreciate you making time to be on here with us. We are absolutely thrilled about the 2-day immersion coming up. This will be our third 2-day immersion. The last two have been extremely successful. Our students have walked away having put properties under contract and, well on their way to getting deals done, transactions done while they were there with us. So I hope everybody has been training and preparing for this 2-day. We're having this meeting just to make sure you guys are really ready. There's some preliminary work that we're going to be doing or need you to do to make sure that this runs smoothly. So Zach's going to be hopping on here with us in a little bit. He's just wrapping up a coaching call. But to kick things off, I just wanted to make sure everybody has their general information and knows what we're expecting of you as you come into this 2-day immersion training. So you should have received an email. If I can get my slide to switch over. All right, here we go. Should have received an email from Jill that has the location information for the 2-day training. So this is January 20th and 21st. I'm positive everybody already has their reservations made. If you have not, Bridge Street Town Center is where the Westin Hotel is located at. So we're going to be having the event at the Westin Hotel. You don't have to stay at the Westin, but it is a beautiful hotel and it's got a cool location around it, or a cool location of staying. The address, just in case you guys need it, is 6800 Governors West. That's here in Huntsville, 35806. If you need their phone number, it's right there for you, 256-428-2000. So again, everybody should have this information, be familiar with the dates, but just in case and as a reminder, that's where it's at, and that's when it will be. So I want to cover the schedule real quick. At 8 a.m., we are going to be kicking off with a networking breakfast. Jill does a phenomenal job of taking great care of you guys while we're with you for the 2 days. She's been working her butt off with the catering staff there to get an amazing breakfast ready for us, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But you'll find when you get in there at 8 o'clock, there's going to be about an hour where we can network, get to know each other better, maybe find some people that are working in a market close to you. It's really just your opportunity to get a full belly, get to know the people in the room, and get prepared for the next 2 days of working hard. So at 9 a.m., we'll kick the training off promptly. We are going to be breaking everybody down in groups. So you'll be sitting at a specific table with a certain group of people. And from 9 to noon, we're going to be going into some of the analysis, establishing your tiers, and more than likely getting on the phone. The last time we had everybody on the phones within 2 hours. So I want everyone to mentally just expect that we're coming into this ready to dial for dollars, and that's going to be the activity for a lot of the weekend, is actually out on the phone talking to sellers, negotiating and getting these properties under contract. So the more you do to prepare in advance, the sooner we'll be able to get everybody in the room on the phones. Our goal is, at a worst case scenario, to be completely on the phone, everybody in the group, by 1 o'clock. So from 9 to noon, it's making sure everybody's ready. We know your scripts, you know your tier, you know how to do your research and what you need to do to start making those phone calls. By 1 o'clock, we will be on the phones. You're going to be doing your lunch on your own, so this gives you plenty of time to get out of the hotel, get a fresh breath of air, and get back in your seats. We want to be ready to go at 1. So you'll be set up with your laptops, your phones, everything you need to do to start dialing for dollars. And we're going to be sending out offers, evaluating properties. Zach's there with us live. We've got AC, we've got Tyler, myself. We're all going to be there helping you guys with this. So at the end
Hey, I'm
of...
here.
Hi, Zach. Welcome
Hi,
aboard, sir.
Carly.
So at the end of the day, on day one, we'll be evaluating what you've done with you and preparing for Sunday. So Zach, since we've got you on here, I'm going to let you take it away.
Awesome. Short and sweet. Come ready to work. I got one mission that weekend. That's to beat the last 2-day immersion. I got a goal with you guys. My goal is to see you guys produce $750,000 in potential profits from deals. So you're not going to let me down, right?
No, they will not let you down.
Here's the deal. So it looks like Carly already kind of went over it a little bit, but the first part of the day on Saturday, just know that that day, those 3 or 4 hours is really getting you guys to understand what segmentation looks like, what clustering looks like, how to do an overlay from your cluster zones into like Craigslist mapping features so that you have the idea of how to look at Craigslist from a mapping feature versus a cluster zone, so you know where to dial, and who to go after. That's part of that day. The other part of that first part of the day is something that you guys could be preparing for before you even get here, and that's learning the scripts. Learning what these scripts are. They're all in your resource files in your 30-day fast track. It's role-playing with each other before you get here. It's pulling them out on the plane and reading them over and over and over, because the more that you become aware of communication, the better you're going to be on the phone. And I get it. Some of you guys are coming here scared out of your mind to get on the phone. And that's perfectly okay. You know, I was just talking with DJ and Autumn before I jumped on with you guys. And, you know, when I was saying, look, not everybody is prepared to jump on the phone and talk to a complete stranger. You know, it's like, oh, what am I going to say to them? You know, that's the mental block that a lot of you are going to break through this weekend, okay? Not this weekend, but you know what I'm saying. When's the weekend? I don't even know what it is.
We're
the 20th
2
and the
weekends.
21st.
Yep, so it's next
Okay.
weekend. They know what you
I promise I'll be there. I don't need to know all the details. I'll just be there, okay? But the point is you're going to break through that this weekend. Even if you've got a negative mindset, you're going to break through that weekend, okay? Because what you're going to see is everybody around you is doing it. So therefore, there's no way for you to lie to yourself anymore and say, well, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is going to work in my area. You can't do it anymore after this weekend. It's going to be, you're going to see it firsthand. It's going to be very present to you that when you are in the right mindset, you're in the right environment, and you have the right people pushing you, you're going to achieve anything that you want. And that's what this weekend's all about, okay? Is getting you to overcome that. Now, how can you help us help you, help us help you, help us help you? Is do some pre-work. Do some pre-work. Do some of your zip code information.
do some of your zip.
Okay, so yeah, get through some of the pre-work that you need to do, and you'll get that here in just a little bit. Read through your scripts. Read through running the numbers. Now, here's the thing. You're not going to be on your own here. I don't want you to feel like that you're going to come here, you're going to be stuck in a corner somewhere and no one's going to help you. That is not at all what this is. We have a team here to push you forward, to hear what you're saying. You raise your hand, you raise a red flag. We're coming to you to say, look, what's being said? How are they saying it? Here's how that deal needs to be done. When you find a deal, I'm pulling you to the board. We're running the numbers on that deal right there, right then, so that you can get back on the phone and start working out the negotiation side of things. That is really getting you, the first part of that day is getting you in the right understanding of what to do, how to do it, and the process that you need to go through to be able to bring deals to the table every single day. Because one of the things you need to be clear on is what you do in these 2 days is what you need to do for the rest of your investing life. It's very cut and dry. There is no sugarcoating it. It's not, oh, well, you know, maybe if you did this a little bit this day and this, no. What you do in these 2 days is like an acceleration of what most people will do over 6 months. We're going to do it in 2 days. The other benefit to you is simply this, is that this is not a seminar. This is not a lecture. This is a roll up your sleeves and let's do the business. So that's why I want you in the right mindset. I don't want you to come in here like, yeah, I've been to a seminar. This ain't no seminar. This is where we're going to get down and we're going to do some deals. We're going to dig in. We're going to make the phone calls. We're going to run the number. I'm going to beat this into you guys. We're going to run them over and over and over and over and over. We're going to go through the scripting over and over and over and over. We're going to get on the phone. And as soon as we get done with one call, we're going to dial another one. We're going to dial another one. We're going to dial another one. Because here's why. The more you will dial, the better you're going to get of overcoming any obstacles or fears that lay in your way to your success. And so this is why it is very crucial that you are here, and you're here not just in body, but you're here in mental, physical, spirit, and aware, and be ready to receive and accept the anxiety, because there's going to be anxiety. There's going to be fear. Listen, I'm the type that I'm all about helping people that want to be helped. But if you show up here and all you want to do is bitch, moan, and complain, you're probably not going to receive the help that everybody else is receiving, because you have yet to get out of your own mind or out of your own head that it's not going to work for you. But I will promise you this, by Sunday, you're not going to be able to do it anymore, because you're going to see everybody else succeeding at it. So don't be that person. Come ready, come prepared, come willing to face the fear that steps in front of you every day that holds you back from your success. Because I promise you, when you got a team around you to support you and push you through that fear, man, you're going to realize, I can do this. Like, this is possible. I just got to do it every day. Every day I got to do something. I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. A lot of you are already have the idea that, hey, this is what I'm coming to do. I want to do wholesaling. Okay, great. Well, then that's what we're going to work on. Some of you are going to come in like, I'm going to go after rehabs. Great. That's what we're going to work on. Some of you are going to come, I want to do buy and holds. Great. That's what we're going to work on. Okay. The other thing is this, is I don't want you to get discouraged. We had a guy at the last one. He came in, I could feel his posture, his energy. He was a little negative. And he started working in a market that he had picked, and he wasn't having any success. And, by the end of Saturday, he was just like, well, there's nothing in my market. Listen to me. There is no limitation to how far you can reach when it comes to doing real estate transactions. Okay, so just because you're sitting in a market in Wetumpka, Mississippi that ain't got no deals does not mean Jacksonville, Mississippi doesn't have deals that you can't do deals in. So we just have to remember that the whole world is our playground if we open our minds up enough. Now, if you're coming in and you're saying to yourself, well, I only want to do rehabs, okay, great. I may not tell you to go into, Dallas, Texas, if you're from Baltimore, to do a rehab. We'll start to look at areas around Baltimore to do rehabs in. I want you to be able to drive to it at least until you get 3 or 4 or 5 under your belt and you understand how it works. Then, yeah, we can go into any market there is to do a rehab. So there are some things that we have to make sure we're clear on. But if you're going to come in to buy and hold, or you're going to come into wholesale, it don't matter. It does not matter where you are or where it is. And I can help you put all that together that weekend. So that's part of day one, that first part. The other thing is this, do me a huge favor. And if you're coming and you're going to go eat lunch, do not go to Red Robin, okay? I know it's right outside the hotel, but it literally takes forever to get them to make a hamburger over there. And all the students that go to Red Robin's always comes back late. So let's try to stay away from Red Robin's while you're here. Listen, I love their hamburger with an egg on it. I think it's fabulous, but I don't like waiting an hour to have a hamburger cooked. So stay away from that. And hey, and by the way, if you guys have any questions, there's a little over on your GoToWebinar panel. There's a question tab there. If you just push on that little arrow, it'll drop down a box and you can type a question in and Carly can see it and we can answer it for you. So when you come back from lunch, you are now going to move from our round tables where we have our discussion to your own desk. You're going to move to your own desk. You're going to set up shop like you're literally at home. but you're going to set up at a desk. You're going to get your stuff together. You're going to breathe. You're going to be ready to do this. You're going to get your scripts out. You're going to get your laptop up. You make sure you bring a laptop. Listen, we had somebody that flew in and they got there and they didn't bring a laptop. They didn't even have an email set up. And I was absolutely befuddled about why they were going to do real estate without having access to the internet. So come with a phone, come with a laptop. That's the two things I need you to make sure that you have. If you have a phone and a laptop, I can teach you how to do this business from your car in a parking lot, and that's all you need to understand. Okay, so be prepared to have your office to go, a phone and a laptop. DJ, if you're on here, you need to bring a second laptop because you need a laptop that you can work on, and you need a laptop that you can open up and pull Skype up so that you can get your wife on so she can hear, see you, you see her, she sees me, I see her, so she can be part of it without being there.
DJ, you got that?
So
I'm trying to type, but yes, I do got it.
Okay, good. We can hear you just fine.
Yeah, you're the only one I'm going to say bring a second laptop, only because your wife's not able to make it. So. All right, so that's when you come back. So literally from 4 until the rest of the day, all we're going to do is dial the phones and find deals. And I guarantee you we're going to find deals after lunch. And we're going to find deals with money in them. And we're going to find deals. You know, I'd like to see us do on Saturday $200,000 or $300,000 in potential profits from all you guys. So that's what I would like to see. So anyways, that's day one. Carly, what else you got for me?
Well, we got day 2. So if you want to just go over what we're going to be covering, and then I can go over like the replay, the UIS, and the lead intake manual. I can show them how to get into all that, and you got this.
So day 2 is simple. We continue, but let me say something to you. When day 1 is ended, that don't mean you put everything in your backpack and you go to your room and order room service and watch the boob tube. That's not what you're here for, okay? I want you working. Listen, you will not get these 2 days back. Do you understand? They won't come back to you. So maximize it. So when you leave the event and you go to your room, keep calling. Like, keep looking for deals. Keep bringing deals together. Keep getting people ready to say yes. Keep bringing those forms down. So when you come in on Sunday, you've got another 5 or 6, 7 deals that we can work through, that we can run the numbers on, and I can help you strategize and help you pick the right direction to go with this, so that not only, you know, that you're continuing your day 1 exercise, but you're getting more practice in. And the practice isn't something where you're going back home and you're going, well, I wonder, I got to wait 4 days before I can figure this out. No, you come back down the next day, Sunday, we get going. 8 a.m. is breakfast. We usually start around 9. And literally, it's not a start. I mean, we're back at it. We're back at our desk. We're back calling again. So if you're coming in from California, let's just talk about this. I don't need you at 9 a.m. calling California and waking people up at 7 a.m. Okay? So for my California people that are coming over, I need you to pick another market, because I don't want you just sitting around not calling. So you might want to pick a market to wholesale in or buy and hold in the Midwest somewhere that's like St. Louis or Texas or Oklahoma or Tennessee or Virginia or Georgia or Alabama or Florida or the Carolinas or Kentucky or Mississippi or Louisiana. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It's endless at the amount of space and market share that we can create. I just need you dialing. I need you calling. I need you to get the experience. So don't come in if you're from California and sit at your desk and say, well, I don't want to wake anybody up. Well, I don't either, but that's not an excuse. Dial another market, okay? So that's getting started. So we're going to continue all the way through to lunch on Sunday. We're just going to dial and find deals, dial and find deals, dial and find deals. So just be ready for that. And then you're going to have lunch, and you're going to come back, and guess what we're going to do again? We're going to call some more. We're going to start contracting. We're going to start following up. So everything that you do on Saturday evening and Sunday morning, we're going to prepare people with the ones that are good deals. We're going to prepare them that, hey, look, after lunchtime, I'm going to be sending you an LOI, a letter of intent, so that you can start the initiation of getting these deals under contract. And we're going to be doing that after lunch. So when you come back, you're going to call some more. Anybody that you set up that is prepared to take your offer, we're going to start sending them letters of intent, okay? And then we're going to create follow-up campaigns. And then by the end of the day, 4:30, somewhere around there, we're going to regroup. We're going to go back over everything. We're going to create a strategy for when you get home, what you need to do to follow up. And more importantly, you need to embrace the change. You need to embrace this year, and that you are literally starting this year off in January with a rocket attached to your back. And that's the most important thing, is that now you've got the whole year to keep going back to the 2-day immersion. This is what we did in the 2-day immersion. I need to go back to this. I'll give you an example. I had a student, Mark, came down to the 2-day immersion. Killed it at the 2-day immersion. Went home, was doing great again, and then life got in his way. And he faded off for about a couple of months. And then we got back on the phone, and I said, man, what's going on? And he simply said, you know what, Zach? I've lost the 2-day immersion. I need to go back to what we did at the 2-day immersion and get this thing back going again. And so we went back through it together. And literally within the next 2 weeks, he was back in the saddle again. He had already found 5 more deals. So my point is this is a training that you will never forget. And it's a training that will always impact your life no matter where you are or what you're moving into, because it is so real. It is so in your face that you cannot deny the outcome from it. And so anytime you start to get off course, you just need to go back to what you did here. And that is why we're all so passionate about the 2-day immersion, and watching you guys come in and then watching you guys on Sunday and how much you achieved, literally, if you think about it, a day and a half of calling. That's the power of this. That's the reward that we receive on it as trainers, watching you guys walk in like, what am I getting into? And then Sunday, man, I got 9 deals I'm working on. Man, I've got almost $150,000 worth of profit that I could make. Like, you guys will be blown away at not just your success, but the success of all those in the room with you. So I'm ecstatic to spend these 2 days with you guys, and I think you guys will be very, very, very happy about what you're going to receive here too.
I agree. It's been neat to watch how much people grow over that time, and watch them go from terrified to pick up the phone and talk to somebody to absolute ninjas with people and not like wanting to get off the phone. You do a great job of this. Okay.
Yes.
Well, do you want me to go through what resources they have at their fingertips that they need to go through and prepare?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just sit back and listen.
Okay. All right. So everybody will be receiving confirmation or access to the Freedom from Flipping replay today. Some of you already have it from the previous event you attended. Many of you do not have access to it. So customer support is getting you set up with a replay of a 3-day event where Zack covers market segmentation, the zip code matrix, and more detailed information for you. So in a minute, I'll show you exactly where you go to access that. Everyone should have access to the Ultimate Investing software. You may or may not have logged into this yet, so this is something we need you to do before you get here. Occasionally, we have challenges with the login and making sure it's running right on your computers. So do us a huge favor in advance. Log into the Ultimate Investing software. Make sure you're able to use it. And if you do have any issues with it, you can reach out to us and we can help get that resolved before we get to the 2-day event. And then lastly, you're going to be referring to your lead intake manual quite a bit. So if you haven't already started to review this, get into it, read your scripts, get familiar with the content that's there, because it'll be very, very helpful for you to know that before getting there. So the Freedom from Flipping replay, you'll be able to access this training by going to the reisuccessacademy.com/membership website. Your username is going to be your email that we have on file for you. And each one of you will have your own password that'll be sent to you via email. So you need to watch your emails. If you don't already have access to this, you'll have it shortly. When you log into this training center, you're going to see the Freedom from Flipping digital workshop right there at the top of your screen. The trainings you're going to want to watch, you don't need to go through the whole thing. There's 3 days of information there, so don't feel like this is something you have to go entirely through. Really, all we want you to focus on is the market segmentation, Zack's marketing, Zack's deal review, and Zack's marketing continued. So there are 4 specific trainings that you'll go through in preparation for the event. This is what the Ultimate Investing software will look like when you log into it. So again, if you're not familiar with this yet, there is a training video when you log in. It's about 22 minutes long. It's with Zack and Heather O'Brien, the person that helped create this. And it's a very helpful training. It's simple, but it'll let you start using it immediately. So if you can get familiar with this before you get out there, that will also be helpful. And then here's what your lead intake manual looks like. So just in case you haven't used it already, it's your orange book that you received in your 30-day fast track materials. More specifically, we're going to be focusing on the motivation worksheet. So again, just get into this and make sure you're familiar with it. Zack, you may want to comment more on this part than me, talking about the tiers. So it's going to be important that you guys understand, what tier you're working in getting started. So Zack, you want to come in and comment here?
So here's the thing. You have to remember, we're literally doing this in 2 days. So one of the things that I don't want you guys getting discouraged over, and that is not really knowing what you want to do, right? So you have to literally know what your game plan is, right? And what is your approach? And you should have a very clear understanding of what you're going after based on what you can do. One of the things that has happened in my time as a trainer is I get people who want to do freaking everything and they can't. They don't have the ability to do everything, and they get discouraged because of it, because no one has ever took the bottle out of their mouth and told them to wake up to reality. Well, let's just be honest right now. If you have no credit and you have no money and you have no experience, there's no reason in the world that you need to be thinking about long-term holds. You have no way of doing it, right? You need to be wholesaling, okay? You need to be working your way up the model. So don't come in and say, well, I want to wholesale and I want to rehab and I want to buy and hold. You haven't even perfected one yet, much less trying to do all 3, okay? Now, if you're somebody that's coming in and you've got a job that you're making good money at, and you've got a decent credit score that you can, and you've got a little bit of money in the bank, well, yeah, absolutely. You could be doing rentals, right? Because you have the ability to go to a lender and borrow money. You have something that works in your favor that allows you to move into a tier 4. And trust me, you will never hear me tell you not to do a tier 4 if you have the ability to do it. You need cash flow. You need to stabilize your life, okay? But you need to take a really hard look at where you are and what you have access to, okay? That's the biggest thing. Don't be naive about the emotional aspect of this business and wanting to do it all, when the reality is that's going to lead you nowhere when you need to focus on what you can do. So I'll give you an example. If you're somebody that wants to be in buy and hold, but you don't have the ability to walk into a bank and put money down, well, then we need to backtrack. Not to say you'll never get there, but we need to build a model to there. So you need to say, okay, well, what's the fastest way to get enough money to put down on buying long-term assets? Well, it's rehabbing, right? Rehabbing, we make the most money. We make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on deals. Okay, so great. So let's focus on finding deals that we can rehab in. Okay, well, that's great, but most asset lenders are still going to require you to put something down. 5-arch funding requires 5% down or 15% down. So then we ask the question, okay, well, if we find a $100,000 purchase, do you have $15,000 to put down? Because they'll fund the remodel. Well, no, I don't. Okay, well, then let's not go chase something that we're going to spend time finding and going after that we can't execute on, okay? So then that says, okay, well, I can't do rehabs. I don't have the 15% down. So now I need to go back to tier 1. I need to go back to tier 1, and I need to wholesale some deals to create the money that I need to then do a rehab deal, okay? So I want you to think about it as a stepping stone, as if you've read my book, if any of you read my book, this is very clear in that book. I talk about it in that book over and over again. Start where you can. Start where your resources allow you to start, okay? Start where you know that you can start to move forward. And that's the biggest goal with any type of, student starting out in real estate investing, is really getting them to understand what they can do and how to start with it. But there again, you probably have resources that you don't even know you have, like, calling and raising credit card limits, consolidating debt, getting access to something that could get you doing a rehab while you're also wholesaling at the same time. So the point with that is come prepared to focus on one tier. That's what I want you focused on. Now, if you come in and you say, I only want to focus on wholesaling, I'm going to say that's great. So then we're going to focus on wholesaling deals. But I'm also going to ask you, well, why would you not rehab? Because here's why. I'm all for wholesaling. You guys know that. I built my business from wholesaling, and that's the reason that I am where I am, is because of wholesaling. But I also learned a lesson through that time as a wholesaler, that there was so much money I lost because I thought all I wanted to do was wholesaling instead of rehabbing. I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because I wouldn't rehab. I just kept wholesaling. So if you come to me and you say, all I want to do is wholesale, I'm going to say, great, but why not rehabbing? Why not buy and hold? I'm going to ask you, and you should be challenged, because you just never know, because most people just say they want to wholesale because that's what they were told to do, or that's what they thought was going to be the easiest approach. But let us determine that. You might be somebody that only needs to be doing buy and holds. I had a guy that I'm worked with right now. I mean, he's up to, I think, 80 units now. And when he first came to me, all he wanted to do was wholesale. That was it. And the more and more I talked to him, the more and more I dug with him, found out he had a decent job, found out he had good credit, found out he had some reserves, had some private lenders that were willing to give him long-term money. I was like, we would be stupid to just wholesale. Like, we need to be building rental properties right now. And, we look back and we giggle about it because he didn't know any better. So I challenge you guys to think of it that way.
I love it. Okay, next we need to talk about their pre-research. So how many cash buyers, so basically putting together their the zip code matrix and the research that they would be doing on Trulia. So in tier one, if you are going to be in a tier one, you want to know how many cash buyers are in that county. We're looking for 300 to 400 as a minimum. You'll be able to get that information through the Ultimate Investing software. That's a great place to find it. You can also get that sort of information through Trulia and some other resources. Zach, do you want to talk about the tier one, tier two research that they need to have? Or do you want me to just blast through this with them?
No, it's fine. I mean, I can talk all day.
Okay, all right. So if you're going to be in a tier two creative financing place, and we love that too. So we need you guys to have a tenant list built. And then we also would like to see you start running an ad on Craigslist that would help you start creating this list. So that might actually be something to talk about, Zach.
Yeah, let's talk about that. But that's only if you're trying to do creative financing, meaning that your whole goal coming here for 2 days is to find lease options and subject tos. If that's what you're coming here specifically to just do, then you need to be prepared for that, right? You need to start your tenant buyers list, which means you need on Craigslist that just simply say, why rent when you can own? And if you have the 30-day fast track, these ads are in there. They're all in there. If you've been to my live event, you get a handout with these ads on there as well. Why rent when you can own? Your job is your credit. Call today for properties available. You just start running that on Craigslist. Every day you run the ad. Every day you run the ad. Every day you run the ad. And you start getting people to call you. There's a form called Tenant Buyer Script that you go through. You ask them questions, and you figure out who you're dealing with. How much money do they have to put down? What kind of monthly payment can they afford? What areas of town are they looking in? so that you're building your tenant buyer database so that now when you're going out and you're talking to sellers about seller financing and taking over their payment or doing a long-term lease with the option to buy, you're now in a position where you have a tenant buyer that can step in and take that lease from you, whether it be you wholesale that lease option or whether it be you sandwich that lease option, okay? So if that's your intent to come here and only look for creative financing, I will tell you this, that if your intent is to come here looking for wholesale deals, you would basically be doing a tier 1, tier 2 at the same time. Okay, because part of the scripting is we buy properties one or two ways. We can pay you all cash at a discount, or we can offer you more than our cash offer, which would give you closer to a retail price if we leave the term, if we can agree on terms by leaving financing in place. That's your script, right? It's we buy one of two ways, all cash at a discount, or I can pay you more than my cash offer, closer to a retail price, if we can agree on a terms where we leave some of the or all of the financing in place. So what happens is any lead you're going after to wholesale, you're communicating them in that format. So you're always taking a lead, trying to either convert it into a wholesale deal or a seller financing deal by that language pattern. And so it's something that will happen. So if you come looking for wholesale deals and you end the call with, I can pay you more than our cash offer price, if we can agree on a terms price, it'll get me closer to a retail price, which I can pay you more. And they say, yeah, I'd probably be interested in that. Then that means that we have a candidate for a creative financing deal, which means A, we could wholesale it and make some fees, or B, we could sandwich it and make cash flow off of it.
I like it. Okay. So if they're coming here in a tier 3 rehabbing, one thing that we've always expressed is that they don't need to come in super concerned about the funding. That's something that we can help with. Okay. And any other recommendations for anyone coming in for long-term buy and holds? If not, I'm going to move on to what is your market doing? Long-term
buy and holds, if you have the 30-day fast track, you just need to go in there and get real familiar with the cash-on-cash formula and the GRM, gross rent multiplier. So when you're looking at buy and hold, to how do we know our investment is good? We run a cash-on-cash formula. How do we know the class of property that we're going to buy without going and looking at it? We look at our gross rent multiplier, okay? And the gross rent multiplier is simply purchase price divided by gross rents for the year, okay? And that will give us a number like 0 through 20. And based on those numbers will tell us the class in which the building is in. So most of our best cash flow properties need to be in that C- to C+ type neighborhood, okay? So the reason I bring that up is because those are two quick formulas that you need to know and you need to study them. So when you're on the phone with somebody and you're talking about a rental property and you say, well, listen, what do you want for the property? $100,000. Great. Hey, what is the gross rents on that thing per year? 10,000. Okay, great. I know what. It's a 10% gross rent multiplier, which means 10% means it's a C+ class neighborhood, which means that that's a high cash flow type property. But let's say that they want $100,000 for that property and it's bringing in $6,000 a year. Well, that's probably going to get me somewhere around a 16% gross rent multiplier, which pushes me in the B+ A- type neighborhood, which means that my cash flow is not there. So it tells me right up front, do I need to negotiate the price, or are the rents so low because they've had tenants in them for years, and is there negotiations that can be done there? So when you're looking at long-term holds, it's all about the initial conversation on gross rent multiplier. Not that you're going to say that to them because it might confuse the seller like I'll get out, but it's a number you need to calculate in your head to try to figure out what class of property it is while you're on the phone with them. And then from there, we need to learn how to run our cash-on-cash return.
Love it. And that's something you'll be going through with everybody many times over while we're there together.
Yes, and yes.
Okay. So one of the things you've had people do in the past, Zach, is do a little bit of pre-research on what their market's doing, more specifically where people are moving, number of building permits being pulled, new home sales, and inventory available. I know we've referred people to housingeconomics.com in the past, and you guys can see this website here on the screen. You it's pretty simple to use. If you've been through a strategy session with us over the phone, you're probably using this site already. I'm assuming, Zach, you want them to do the same research going into it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're coming here or not. You need to do this.
Yeah, I agree with that. So if you go into the housing economics website, this is what it looks like. And then you've got housing statistics just up in one of these tabs here. So you can click on that and you'll see where it says building permits, state and metro areas. You're going to want to click on that and download the report that they provide. There's a 30 to 60-day lag, but pretty much every month you can pull a new report that provides us with year-to-date metrics on how the housing market's changing. Is it increasing or decreasing based on building permits that are being pulled? So here's an example of the report. Once you get this downloaded, you're going to be looking at the year-to-date percentage change for the single family, and then we've got a year-to-date percentage change for multifamily. So ideally, you're looking for 20% or higher in the market that you're going to be focused on. And I think this is probably a good thing for you to talk about, Zach, because just like we saw with the gentleman who was living in Washington, his numbers weren't necessarily attractive, and he found that to be a little discouraging, but he chose to stay in that market anyway. So if someone is in an area that they see 20% or less in this year-to-date change, what would you recommend?
Hey, sorry.
You're
What was that? I was breaking up there. What is it? 20% change in what market?
Yeah, so if we're going through the it's the building permits that have been pulled. So we've
Yep.
discussed how it needs to be, or ideally we're at a 20% or higher year to date. So
Yes.
if someone has or is in a market that is lower than 20%, what would you recommend?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you got to remember there's several factors of understanding market positioning, right? Building permits just tell us that there's an increase in demand. So when we have a 20% or higher increase of demand in building permits for new construction, then that tells us that there's a housing need, which means there's an influx of population, which tells me two factors. I need to be over there remodeling like right now to get a piece of that market share. If that 20% is less, that does not mean that I run out of that market. That just means that, okay, well, the building is the permits aren't being pulled, so there's not such a high demand, or I need to check on available inventory next. Okay, so for example, if I notice that the building permits in my market are less than 20%, that tells me, okay, well, there's no pulling new permits, which means hence there may not be a demand, okay, for new builds. So I'm going to go over and look at my inventory overage or shortage. And if I notice that in the inventory I'm sitting on more than 4 months of inventory, then that tells me that the market has oversaturated itself, okay, which means they've built too much. There's too much on the market. People aren't buying them. They've overbuilt. The market is stagnant right now, which means there's probably another sign from that, okay? Rental market's going to go up and seller financing deals are going to go up, because the only reason properties would sit stagnant is because there is a tightening or a restriction put on lending in that area, which means that the lending institution is tightened up. So the people that were able to get loans that made that increase in housing go is now no longer qualified to buy or loan money. So therefore, if they were trying to sell their house, there's an opportunity there to lease it. There's also opportunities on the other side for tier two. So there's always an opportunity. You just have to understand, what does the data tell us to do? The data doesn't tell us to run out or run in. The data tells us what strategy to deploy.
Exactly. And this is just one of the research tools that you're going to be using. So we're going to have you guys do some zip code evaluation, and this supports what Zach was talking about. So you're going to want to go into Trulia, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. We'd like everybody to have the average sales price per city, average sales price per zip code, the number of listings on the market now, the number of sales over the last 12 months in that zip code, and the per capita income. And just as a heads up, all of you guys are going to be getting a copy of this recording. So if you feel like we're moving a little bit faster, you're afraid you're going to miss some of this, just know that it's going to come to you again. But to go through what Zack just discussed, this is what you're going to need to do. Go ahead, Zack.
Is there any questions popping up?
Let me pop over there and see. Yeah, you guys, if you do have questions, this would be a good way to go, or a good place, a good time to start asking. AC's asking to be unmuted. Hold on, AC.
Oh, Lord.
I know, I should have known better. AC, you realize I can mute you again, right? I'm just kidding. Hi, AC. How you doing, Big Poppy?
He's hiding now.
Yep. All right. Well, AC, you're unmuted. You're welcome to participate anytime you'd like.
All right.
Okay.
Also, bring a zip code map. So it's important. You can go to Google and type in free zip code map. It'll bring up your area, your county. It'll be a map broken into zip codes. I would highly encourage you to bring that with you, because it's something that you should always be using, so that you can pin down your markets.
Yep, definitely. So here's a picture of Trulia. So to start getting the information that we just discussed there, you guys are going to go into Trulia, click on Local Scoop, go to Market Trends, and you'll be able to start putting all that information together that we just discussed. So don't ever forget, Trulia is a wealth of information. But this is Local Scoop, Market Trends, and then you can go in and start gathering the median sales prices and all of those numbers that we just discussed. Also, in Zillow, you can use the More tab that usually people don't know about, and you're going to be able to get into a lot more information there. So if there's anything you can't find in Trulia, you should be able to get it over in Zillow. Anything you want to add to that?
And go back to that slide real quick.
This one?
The Zillow slide.
Okay.
You're going to find it under that little tab there called Local Market Overview. So that's where you're going to want to go into, and you'll be surprised at what you can find, man. I mean, it's pretty impressive in there what the data that they aggregate. So
yeah, I'm still mind blown at how much I've learned from you about Zillow and everything that it has. I talk about that every day. So if you guys haven't been doing your market clustering or aren't familiar with how to do it, again, make sure you watch that Freedom from Flipping replay. Zack does a phenomenal job of showing you what to do there. So you're just identifying these market clusters that you will find in Zillow by going through the research that many of you have done with us already. And you're going to establish what tier it is. So Zack, do you want to talk about this slide?
I just want them to watch the video, because when you get here for the 2-day, the first part of the morning, I'm actually going to pull it up and kind of show you live how we do it for you again. So
beautiful. Yeah, and that's still one of my most favorite things you teach us. I love that. Okay, Rent-A-Meter. This is something for people that are going to be, well, Zack, you talk about this.
Yeah, so Rent-A-Meter is really for wholesalers and buy and hold people. Let me explain that. Is because let's say you're going to wholesale, and I'll just be flat honest with you. The best deals to wholesale are rental properties, okay? Like, that's the best deals. There's more of them. There's more buyers, and the buyers don't try to beat you up all the day long, because they're only looking for cash flow and not trying to make $50,000 profits off these deals. So they're like the easiest deals to capture and wholesale to landlords. So as a wholesaler, you need to use a service like Rent-A-Meter. And the reason that is because it's the same service that property management companies use. And you basically just put the address in, and it'll tell you what the rents are in that area and what that property should rent for. As a buy and hold person, it's a way for you to validate what the rents that they're receiving on that property are. So if they say, oh, I'm getting $750 in rents on this property, and you go to Rent-A-Meter and it's showing everything in that area is renting for $650, then you got a little bit of a concern that you need to think about. Like, how are they getting more rents? Is that going to be stable? If that person moves out, can I still get $750? Or on the reverse, the person may be renting it out for $575, and you might find out that the rents in that area are $700, which gives you an upswing to be able to create more value in that property. So That's what Rent-A-Meter is. The other side of it is Rent-A-Meter will shut you out after so many times you pull. So I think it's like 10
Yep.
or something like that.
That's where they kept everybody last time. Yep.
So after 10 pulls, they're going to shut you out and tell you got to pay for the service. Okay. But it's just the way they are. So it used to be free, and then they turned it into a subscription base. But I'll tell you this, if you're gonna be chasing deals down, you're gonna be looking at properties that rent, you're gonna need it. So I forget, how much is it? Do you even know how much it is?
It's only like a couple $100 for the year. It's not even all that expensive.
Did you say 200 for the year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'll check it out real quick.
Like 20?
I have a Rent-A-Meter subscription, and I want to say I might have paid $89 for the year.
Okay. Well, there you go. So I would suggest anybody that's going to be wholesaling or anybody that's going to be doing the buy and hold game, you need that system. You need it. Property management companies use it. I use it. Jill uses it. People use it that are in that world. Okay. So it's something that,
Hey. Right now they're offering it for a discount of $100. So it was $199. They're offering it for $99, but you've got to use a promo code. I'll share that with you guys in the email if you want to use it.
So there you go. So that's Rent-A-Meter. It's a powerful tool. Use it. Be part of it. If you're a rehabber, you'll probably never use it until you start realizing that you need to start taking your profits and start buying rental properties. Then you'll start using it.
I love it. Okay, so just to review, you've got determining your tier, determining your market, practicing your scripts, and lastly, and probably least important, if you're familiar with Facebook and you've got the time, you've done everything else that we've discussed, take a few minutes to start creating a Facebook page. It's not a major deal, but it is a 4-step that you can take. And we'd like to see you guys starting to connect with Zack and the Creative Real Estate Training Academy more on that Facebook page. So I'll be able to work with you guys on that when we get there together. But if you do have the time, feel free to set that up and I can show you a little bit about how you can start marketing via Facebook for free too. So the message is be prepared.
Be prepared. Yes. That is your 2018 goal. Be prepared this year. It is here, guys. I've said it for the last 2 years. I should have took a snapshot of it, but 2 years ago, I started saying, "Hey, look, 2018, we're gonna start seeing the market reach higher levels than it did back in 2009, 2010, and the market trends right now are higher than they were in 2010 and 2011." It's here. We're here. Okay. We're in it. And it is coming fruition, everything I've been saying for the last 2 years, which means that we need to be in it now. Like, we need to be in it right now. We need to be making as much money as we can so that we can buy long-term investments. This is the year that you guys need to get serious, and you need to start doing whatever you need to do to make money, because prices are up. I mean, I was buying fourplexes here 2 years ago for 80 to 100,000. Now they're selling for 175. It's here. This is the time you need to get serious. You need to be prepared. If you hadn't been listening to me for 2 years, listen to me now and know that you need to be in this. You need to be in it. You need to get in. You need to make your money, and you need to be ready for 2019, because I'm telling you, I think mid to end of 2019, we're going to start seeing prices drop again, and it's going to be a buying frenzy for those that have positioned themselves correctly to stack money to buy more long-term assets.
And I think about the market research that you've taught all of us how to do, and just how that helps us get ahead of what's to come as well. So thank you for teaching everybody how to do this, Zack. It's a huge difference long term. No matter what happens, we're all going to know exactly what we need to do.
That's it. And it's all risk management, guys. That's what it is. You know, to sit around and think that the real estate market's going to stay the same all the time, it is nonsense. And to sit around and think about, well, I don't want to get in and then the market changed, that's nonsense. It's about knowing that it's always going to be changing. And it's about knowing how to see those changes and be ready for those changes so that you can capitalize when the changes happen. That's what real estate's about. Real estate is about capitalizing on the movement of the market. And that's what you need to become a specialist at.
Well, I do know this 2-day immersion is the first step of many for people to be able to get that dialed in. So we are, once again, you guys, we're thrilled to have you joining us. I will get this recording of the meeting we just had over to you. Support's going to be following up with emails as well. So everybody needs to pay attention to their email today or check it by the end of the day. Make sure you test the Ultimate Investing software and make sure you can use that before we get together. And as always, Jill's here. She's available. Jill, anything you want to add before we hop off with everyone?
No, I mean, you guys did a great job. I'm super excited to see everybody come in, and I'm really excited to see what everybody's going to do this weekend.
Yeah, me too. So Jill also
Hey,
sent an email. Go ahead.
Did any questions come through?
I didn't see any. Let me see one more time.
Okay.
Everybody's
and we
pretty
unmuted
quiet.
AC.
I did unmute AC. Yeah, Barbara Lee just commented on how much the rent-a-meter was. Hi, Barbara Lee. All right. Yeah, no question. So if that's that, you guys will get everything over to you via email. Like I said, Jill sent an email out, so make sure you guys read that. It is a little chilly here, so come prepared and watch your email. That's that. Anything else, Zach?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. You guys are awesome. Look forward to seeing everybody here. Oh, wait, hold on. Now we got some questions coming in.
That's how it happens.
All right, let me pull these
That's
up.
how it always happens. Wait, don't go. Oh, wait, don't go nowhere.
I got it. Okay. Can we have Zach put his elbows? I'm not even going to say AC. I'm not repeating that one.
Oh, Lord.
Tell me again how we find out how many cash buyers are in the county. Sorry, I forgot. That's going to be in the Ultimate Investing software.
Yeah, so let's be clear on this. To find out how many cash buyers are in your market is through the Ultimate Investor software. To find out how many cash sales are in your zip code will come from your agent.
That's a good thing to separate there. So if you guys don't have an agent that you've started talking with, now would be a good time to get one on your team. Rudy says, thank you for our preparation. Janet wants to know if we're only going to be doing residential calls. Absolutely not.
Nope, I've got a gentleman coming in that is going to be focused on multifamily as well. Last time we had 2 people there focused on multifamily. So no, it's about what you want. You're going to go after what you want. We're going to be here to direct you and help you analyze and communicate and what to ask for. And so if you're going after multi-units and, commercial type properties, then you go get them, girl. And we're going to help you understand what you need. How do you evaluate them? What's the data that you need them to send you so that we can determine, is it going to be a sustainable deal that we can take to a lender? Is the the DCR, debt cover ratio, going to be in the right, parameter for most lenders? And, what type of documents do we need to validate that the asset's a good asset? So it's just a different way of looking at deals. The approach to find them is always the same. We dial, we look, we dial, we look, we dial. Well, how we analyze is going to be different based on asset or execution. So it's going to be, it's what you're looking for. We're not going to put you in a seminar and sit in front of the room and tell you, here's what we're going to be looking for. No, we're going to put you at a desk and you're going to look for what you want, and we're going to help guide you through that.
That was an excellent question, Janet. I'm glad you brought that up. And then Corey, he says he's looking forward to doing some deals with us. Yeah, Corey, I'm really excited to be able to meet you too. I'm glad you stepped up and are going to be able to join us here at the 2-day immersion. That was a very, very smart move on your part. So if that's it, you guys, I don't see any more questions coming in. Just compliments and people excited about joining us. So Zach, if you want to go ahead and wrap it up, we can end things.
Ma'am, so listen, guys, your comments are muchly appreciated and all the gratitude, but we'll see if you still say that at the end of the day, Saturday.
You might hate us a little bit after day one, but you'll love us on day two.
We'll see. But ultimately, I can't say it enough. I know Carly had it in the slide, but be prepared. We know who's prepared. You show up, you're ready to go. You've got your scripts. You understand what you're doing. If you just float in blindly and like, oh, well, where's my script at? Or where's it? Listen, we're not here to babysit you guys, okay? I don't want to be mean, but I'm going to be a little bold right now. We're not here to babysit you. We're here to help you do deals. We're here to help you overcome obstacles. We're here to help you overcome your lack of information, your challenges. I'm not here to bring people in to show you how to set up an email. I'm not here to teach you how to set up Skype. I'm not here to teach you where, Best Buy is to go buy a computer. Come prepared. Stop being a victim and thinking that everybody else needs to do everything for you. Come prepared, and we will take you to the next level. So be prepared to join the journey, and you'll be surprised at how far you will go in a matter of 2 days.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, you guys, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you here in a couple weeks. Watch your emails. You'll see all this here shortly. Thanks for your time, Zach and Jen.
See you guys.
We'll see you soon.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Woohoo!
And by the way, if you want to bring me a gift, I like, Reese cups and,
He's registered at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Walmart's my favorite store of all time.
Oh, my Lord.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to you later. Thank you, everybody, for being on here.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.